Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. It is Monday, it is March 11th, and we are just a few days away from the 2024 Walmart Collectors Con, or as some people somewhat unaffectionately refer to it as, the Walmart Cancel Con, because let's all admit it, Walmart sucks for this kind of stuff. But that is not what we are here to talk about. We are here to talk about the things that are getting released for this online big box event. I don't know about you, but it kind of kills me a little bit that these big box companies like Walmart and their Collector Con and Target and their Haulathon or whatever it is they call it, I can't remember. It kind of kills me a little bit that they're jumping on the bandwagon and doing these like big online pre-order events. But that is a discussion for another time, because we got some sneak peeks at what is going to be released. I'm sure you've seen other channels where they've gone over the whole list that you can see. I'll even put a link to the sneak peeks in the description below if you want to take a look at it and see everything that's coming out. But I'm only going to talk about a few things because there's really only a few things that interest me this year coming out. And one of them we are going to be talking about actually comes out at a very interesting time, because I almost did this myself, what they just put up for sale. But we will talk about that. Also, at the end of this, we will discuss some sales that are going on over at Target, whether it's in reaction to this or whether it's just to unload some surplus, maybe a little of both. But there's some big sales on Python Patrol going over on Target that we will talk about in a moment as well. Now, on to the reason you're here, the Walmart Collector Con. Boy. The first thing I want to talk about is this, the Neca Ultimate Ghostface. And I was kind of upset when I first saw this because I just pre-ordered the Mezco 112 Ghostface that went up for pre-order. I pre-ordered that on Big Bad. There's, I think, like a $9 non-refundable deposit for it. And when I saw that Neca was putting one up for pre-order for considerably less, I was so ready to just like, never mind about the $10 or the $9 non-refundable deposit. If I sacrifice that $9 and order this one that is coming in at $34.99, I'm still going to save money. Whereas like the Mezco one, like all Mezco 112s, it's like around $100. But then I started thinking about it because I don't have any of the other NECA monster figures, because if you've watched the channel, especially during Halloween, you know how I am about movie monsters and slasher villains, and especially Scream. Scream is one of my top two like horror slasher franchises, that and Hellraiser. And the only figure that I have from NECA for their monster line is the Ultimate Pinhead figure, because they're really the only ones that have done a figure of Pinhead. Kind of surprised Super 7 hasn't done it yet, but that's neither here nor there. But I wouldn't have any other figures to match up with that, because I have the Jada Toys movie monsters. All of my other like movie monster figures are at the 6-inch range. So the 7-inch figure, don't really have any place for it. Pinhead, I don't mind being at the 7-inch scale because he's Pinhead. He's supernatural. He can be larger than life. He can be larger than like a standard person. But Ghostface is just a person. More often than not, a teenager. So Ghostface needs to be at that 6-inch range. However, this is still a really cool figure. And if I collected the NECA monster figures, movie monster figures, I would definitely be all over this one, because we get a bunch of different heads, different hands. You can pull the robe off and it shows the bulletproof vest underneath. You get the pitchfork, a couple of butcher knives. You get the flamethrower, which Ghostface with a flamethrower still blows my mind that that even happened, with flame effect, and of course the knife. So it's a cool figure, but also it's kind of limited, that I feel like it's pretty much just to like the last movie, whereas like the Mezco one, I feel like they give you enough accessories, enough add-ons, enough different masks and things that like you can make a Ghostface in pretty much any of the franchise with that. I think the Mezco one even has like a glow-in-the-dark Ghostface mask, which is kind of cool. But if I wasn't getting the Mezco one, and this was the only one, I still might have gotten this one. But then there's also something else that Neca is putting out for their monster line that is making me reconsider and possibly dive into these monster figures that Neca is putting out, and that is this, London After Midnight. Who knew? Who knew somebody would make a figure of this? And if you don't know what London After Midnight is, I don't blame you. It's not really, it's more of like, I guess all of the monster movies are kind of cult movies, but this one especially is definitely like very much more of like a cult following, that like not everybody is aware that this movie existed. But just look at the face sculpts on this madman. Look how good this is. This is really cool. And the fact that it's done pretty much entirely in black and white, except for the lantern, like everything else is just like monochrome black and white. But if you take a look at the eyes, like you can see the color coming through for the eyes. The face sculpts on this are incredible. I think this looks really, really good. And it's kind of making me want to dive into Neca's monster line, because if they're going to start doing stuff like this, well, that's just going to be brilliant. But at the same sense, like I have a lot invested in the 6-inch line right now. Plus I have the Mask of the Red Death repaint on pre-order, along with the Jacob Marley on pre-order, the repaint. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Plus the Headless Horseman. The Headless Horseman is just, I don't know. These are really cool. If you're into the Neca monster line, check these out. Neca has a lot coming out for the Collector Con, which doesn't surprise me because they usually have a lot coming out for the Target event too. And that takes us to, well, before we jump to this one, like a few things that Neca is also releasing is there are a couple of figures like Casey Jones and Raphael, the first to fall from the next Ronin line, are going to be part of this as well. So that's really cool. Like that line looks like it's going to be really cool. And if I collected TMNT, I would definitely be in on that line, especially that Raphael first to fall figure. Like that just looks really cool. Now, what is worth noting before we go on to the next one is that I believe Neca has said these are not Walmart exclusives. Walmart will have first dibs, but eventually they will be available, whether through Neca's website or at other online e-tailers like Big Bad and Entertainment Earth and things like that. More than likely, they'll end up at Target at some point because Neca and Target seem to have a really good relationship. But they said that with the next one we're going to take a look at, which is this, the 50th Anniversary Warduke. And you know how much I love me my Warduke figure. The fact that they're bringing him out on the blister card like they did with that Strongheart in the original colors, this just looks really, really cool. I had this figure, and when I saw this, like, that took me back. There aren't many things that take me back, but like D&D at this time, the aesthetic of Dungeons and Dragons, the feeling of Dungeons and Dragons, like just how Dungeons and Dragons was kind of like this niche thing before it became what it is today, when, like, you know, if you were in a room and there was 10 of you, maybe 2 of you had heard about D&D, but only 1 of you had actually played it. Like, that to me was like the golden age of Dungeons and Dragons, and like just everything that was coming out in that first edition, second edition era. And Warduke was very much a part of that. He was kind of the face of D&D to anybody who didn't know Dungeons and Dragons. He was a very popular figure. I mean, no surprise, just take a look at him. He was as awesome then as he is now. I really like the green flame that they gave him rather than the red flame. I really like that. I'm definitely going to buy this and like keep it in the blister card, just like I did, or just like I'm going to do with Strongheart. But if we take a look at the back, if we take a look at the back of the figure, we can see a cross sell that we know Strongheart got the 50th anniversary treatment. We can see Warduke is getting it, but it also looks like Elkhorn and Zarak are going to get it as well. So we have 2 more figures coming out for this 50th anniversary line. The one that is noticeably missing is Grimsword, and I'm willing to bet that's because of just the sheer size of Grimsword. Like if we flip the card back around and we take a look at the front of it again, you know how much bigger Grimsword is than Strongheart and Warduke. His plastic bubble would take up pretty much the entire cardstock, from top to bottom, the entire front of the cardstock. So I think it's just sheer size alone that Grimsword isn't going to get that 50th anniversary treatment. And I'm going to say it again. I really hope this is not the end, like this is not it for the NECA Dungeons and Dragons line. There are still numerous figures that they could be bringing out from that old LJN line, including the ones that they just did, the Forgotten line that we got 3 3/4 figures of, I think it was last year. It would be really cool if they did 7-inch figures of those as well in the months coming up for this year or even into next year. Also, and this is just me, NECA, if you're listening, think about Dragonlance. Think about Chronicles. Think about putting some figures out from that, if you can work that. Because I would really love, in this style, a Lord Soth figure. Just putting that out there. Now, this is one of the things that I'm going to be pre-ordering. This is one of the things I'm going to be interested in. But if I don't get it at the time of the Collector's Con, I'm not really worried about it because, as I said, NECA already said that this will be available at other e-tailers. Well, I'm sorry, I don't think they just said it outright, but they have heavily alluded at that, like, Walmart is just getting first crack at it, and then it will be available at other places. The other one that I'm definitely going to be picking up is this, the Night Force Ram Cycle. And what amuses me about this is that on Amazon, you can get the Tiger Force Ram Cycle with Duke for like $32 at this point. And my plan was to pick up another one of those and repaint it black and give it like a Night Force look, a Night Force treatment. Because if you've been following the show, if you've been paying attention to Instagram, I am really into Night Force right now. And I really, really like the Ram Cycle. Like, the Ram was one of my favorites when I was a kid. I used it all the time. It was always coming out of the toy box. I used it for multiple missions. Sometimes there would be multiple Rams involved. I'm actually kind of upset that I only picked up one of the Cobra Island bikes with Breaker, because now that I think about it, I would have really liked to have had like a second just standard green one. And there's some kit bashing plans that I had with the Breaker figure, but I missed out on that. And now they have this, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, this is going to be, what is it? This is $54.97, so basically $55. But the name of the game is reuse. Everything on this, in this pack, is reuse. The Ram Cycle and Sidecar is obviously reuse. The figure that comes with it, Shockwave, is obviously reuse and repaint. The steel core helmet that he has is obviously a reuse and repaint. And a Night Force steel core helmet, I'm not going to lie, that's pretty cool to have. There's a lot you could do with that, even if you don't give it to Shockwave here. But then all of the accessories and weapons all come from something else. The backpack and the drone comes from the Cobra Island Firefly. I don't get why they gave that to Shockwave, other than maybe it's a recon drone instead of a boom boom explosion drone. All of the weapons that he comes with are Big Ben's weapons. Everything from the suppressed MAC-10 to the belt fed, which I don't know which one that is, and the SMG. Like, everything that he comes with is Big Ben's weapons, with the exception of the knife and the pistol, that I think that's the stuff that he came with originally, or that's just like the generic pistol that pretty much comes with every Joe now. But everything here is reuse. So I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to think, why am I going to pay $55 for repaints of everything? And that is a fair criticism. However, for me, it's a Night Force Ram Cycle. Yes, I'm going to get it. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to get it from Pulse instead of Walmart, because just like every other thing that goes up on a store exclusive or something, I'm sure Pulse is going to have a number of these available the day of. Remember, it starts Thursday the 14th, so I'm willing to bet that they will go up on Pulse at the same time. I'll give that a shot, because last Walmart Collectors Con with Tunnel Rat, what was it? Tunnel Rat, Wolf Spider, and Shadow Hunter, I was able to get all of those off of Pulse. So if I was able to get all three of those off of Pulse, I have a feeling I'm going to be able to get this Ram off of Pulse, because I don't think this is going to be quite that popular. But this is exactly what you want for an exclusive. You don't need it. As a matter of fact, some people might even just pass on it just because of, I don't need another Ram, I don't need another Shockwave. Because honestly, I just want the bike. Shockwave to me is not a Night Force person. Like, I know he was on Night Force back in the vintage line, but for me, Night Force was always like military, special ops, commandos. He's SWAT. He shouldn't be on the team. I have other plans for Shockwave. Haven't even opened up the standard one yet that I got. We're going to be taking a look at that. But he might end up being fodder, or he's just going to get, put in the tub somewhere. But I definitely want that bike. And that's really it. That's all I am interested in for the Walmart Collectors Con. As I said, this is Monday, the 11th, and the Collectors Con will be starting on Thursday, the 14th, towards the end of the week. Time of recording, I'm recording this on Sunday. So does it actually give a time of what this is going to start? Let me look that up, because I know it starts on the 14th. I don't... Okay, 7 a.m. Pacific time. Okay, so 7 a.m. Pacific time, I think that's like, is that 10 a.m. Eastern Standard? Let me see something. Yeah, so if it's 7 a.m. Pacific time, it'll be 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just keep that in mind when you're refreshing the page, trying to get what you want to get. Because there's some Marvel Legends going up. There's some Star Wars Black Series that, truthfully, even as a Star Wars collector, it's not that interesting. Prowler for Marvel Legends is kind of cool. There's a TMNT 4-pack. I was kind of hoping that Voltron Anniversary Edition was going to go up as part of this as well. There's Turtles of Grayskull, and of course, there's actually some Masters of the Universe Origins figures going up for this as well, which kind of surprises me, because I thought Origins was just going to be a Mattel Creations website thing now. But apparently, we can get them at the Collector Con. I will put a link to the Collector Con sneak peek page in the description below if you want to take a look at that for yourself. But the other thing we're going to talk about is the Python Patrol sales that are going on at Target. I do think this is a twofold thing. One, they have a lot of Python Patrol left over, so they're trying to liquidate it. And two, I don't think it's a coincidence that they're releasing it now at the same time that the Walmart Collectors Con is about to go up. And what do we have? We have everything. Well, not everything, but we have the things that they still have in stock. Like, there's no bats, first of all. There's no bats. There was a Vipra, but I can't seem to find her right now. But we have the first series Python Patrol Cobra Officer for $11.49 a figure. So that's $11.50 for that. We have the second release of the Python Patrol Cobra Officer for $14.99, so that's $15. So we got one for $11 and we got one for $15. That you get those two figures, and that's roughly the price of one new figure. That's kind of cool. That's actually making me think of picking up some in Army building. My Python Patrol isn't something I ever really did, because I just don't unbox a lot of the Python Patrol, but now I'm thinking otherwise. We have the Python Patrol Trouble Bubble up for sale, which is $26.99, $27 for the Trouble Bubble plus the Python Televiper. I only bought one when they were released, when they went on pre-order. I think it was last year. This is making me think maybe I'll get another one just to have that second Televiper. I don't know. And then we have Copperhead, the leader of the Python Patrol, the best version of Copperhead, up for $14.99 at $15 basically for that figure. And let me do some digging around on here because Viper didn't show up on the front page. I will put a link to the Python Patrol page for them in the description below as well. Yeah, here's Vipra, that she is going for $14.99? Yeah, $14.99 as well, $15. So the two named figures are going for $15. The second release of the Cobra Officer is going for $15. The older release of the Python Patrol Officer with the yellow shirt is going for $11. And the Trouble Bubble is going for $27. That's kind of cool if you're looking to army build Python Patrol. For me, Python Patrol was always something that, like, okay, I just want this figure and this figure. I'm going to put them on the shelf. I'm not going to worry about them. We're cool. I just wanted to have them. But now at these prices, well, that's practically just leaving money on the table. Something else that we have on sale for Python Patrol, or I'm sorry, not Python Patrol, but let me pull it up right here. Okay, yeah, something else that we have on sale at Target is this guy, the Cobra Island Roadblock from like Wave 1 or Wave 2. Can you believe this thing is still available? Not only is it available, Target has it on sale for $9.49, $9.50. So if you were looking for one just to like sort of round out your collection or complete your collection, I actually want to get one because I have some ideas of what he could be used for. But he's available. Go ahead and check that out. There's other things on here. If you pick and choose, if you look through it, there's other classified figures and some reaction figures for sale. None of the Tiger Force, unfortunately. So like Recondo and Bazooka are still at $25, $22 and $25. But a lot of Python Patrol, that version of Roadblock, check it out. Links in the description below. So let me know, how do you feel about these collector's con type things? How do you feel about, like, you know, the big box stores having these big pre-order events and possibly missing out on things because of the big rush, especially doing it on Thursday in the morning / middle of the morning, depending on where you live, when a lot of people are going to be at work. The only reason I get so lucky, and I realize I am very fortunate in this, is because I work out of my house. Like, this isn't just where I record. This is basically my office. So I'm on this all the time. So I have a chance to, like, as I'm working, just check things out, grab stuff, and that's it. I don't have to worry about it. Not everybody is as fortunate as me. And I feel like the release of these in the morning, in the afternoon, is really cutting a lot of people out of circulation for these things. How do you feel about that? I'm genuinely curious because I don't think I'm alone in my thoughts of this is kind of ridiculous. So let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, please remember to do all the YouTube things. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet and you're into content like this, because we're going to be doing a lot of Action Force and a lot of G.I. Joe this year. Leave me a comment. Drop a like if you like the Walmart Collector's Cons. Drop me a dislike if you don't like them. Any engagement is good engagement. Also, don't forget to check me out on Ko-fi, where for $1 a month you can get access to exclusive content, early access to what is going up on YouTube, and other member benefits. So until next time, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching. Oh, and let me know what you're looking forward to if you're going to pre-order any of this stuff.